This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on the South Today, an independent investigation is ordered into the dumping of waste building materials into the Clutha River. Runaway Play are among 5 grant recipients which will help them achieve greater digital heights. And a Cantabrian jetpack inventor is taking their invention overseas. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Melissa Barton. The dumping of waste building materials into the Clutha River earlier this year is set to be the subject of an independent investigation. In March this year, local residents complained about building waste being dumped into the Clutha River. Otago Regional Council has authorised the probe at a meeting yesterday, which will be headed up by retired High Court Judge Sir Graham Pankhurst. It'll investigate the circumstances leading up to an array of contaminants being dumped into the river. The investigation aims to avoid such an incident occurring again in the future. Otago Regional Council Chair Andrew Noon has reminded every member of the council to take their roles as guardians of the environment seriously. Police and Land Search and Rescue New Zealand are looking for a missing man in Dunedin. Land Search and Rescue volunteers searched Botanic Gardens, the Dunedin Northern Cemetery and the area surrounding Opaho Park this morning. A police spokeswoman says Michael Pritchard Sr. has been missing since Tuesday. His vehicle was found parked on Lovelock Avenue today about 7 a.m, with search and rescue arriving around 8:30. The Dunedin-based New Zealand Centre of Digital Excellence, CODE, has announced 5 successful grant recipients as part of its second round of funding. Runaway Play are among the 5 recipients and say the boost they've received will help them to employ more people.
A funding boost set to help build a runaway success.
Really great to see funding coming in for games and to get that local support through CODE, and it's enabling us to just hire some additional people and grow the team a little bit and just add some support to the project.
Dunedin's Zoe Hobson has been around the entertainment industry for a few years and knows receiving Centre for Digital Excellence, or CODE funding, will encourage more game development.
They currently plan to be a free-to-play mobile game. It's about bees. What else can I tell you? That's probably about all I can tell you at this stage. It will be released on the Apple App Store and on the Google Play Store.
Runaway Games employs more than 30 staff at present, but Hobson says that's going to increase thanks to the CODE funding.
So we've actually already brought on a couple of additional people for this project with this funding, which has been really great just to be able to have that support towards the project to support those salaries.
She says the next step is continuing the game's development, from building up the story and the motivations for why people will want to play the game. The team is really grateful to CODE for the funding they've received and also its support of the wider industry. In Dunedin, the South Today.
New Zealand's tourism industry has been told to potentially hold tight for another year. Tourism businesses may have to wait another 12 months before the borders reopen to international visitors. Tourism Minister Stuart Nash announced this week that the industry should prepare for another year without overseas travellers. While the government's plan is to open to tourists on April the 30th with the condition of 1 week of self-isolation, it's not set in stone. Nash says a list of variables could interrupt the reopening plan, including the new Omicron variant of COVID-19. Other factors included the health system's resilience, the country's booster campaign, and the impact of returning New Zealanders. A Cantabrian jetpack inventor has taken his creation overseas while remaining in New Zealand waters. Glenn Martin and his wife flew across to the Chatham Islands with his jetpack safely stowed away in his biplane.
Glenn Martin is no stranger to pushing the boundaries of aviation, whether it's a 5-hour return flight from the Chatham Islands or flying something less conventional. The inventor of the Martin jetpack says retirement has allowed him to spend more time on recreational flying, with occasional long-range adventures.
When I got to the islands, everybody said, well, you know, it's quite unusual. I don't think anybody's done it in a private plane for a number of years. So it's not unique, but it's just not very common.
Planning for the oceanic flight to the Chathams took a couple of years and was recently completed successfully and without any dramas. Now Martin has a new mission.
I've got this bucket list to visit every airfield in New Zealand. There's about 130. I've done about 122 so far. I've got about 8 to go. Some of them I probably won't get permission to get into.
Glenn's wife Vanessa was relieved to see him touch down safely.
It's been a long time preparing from it. He's been really excited about it. I have to admit, on the day that he left, I wasn't particularly happy about it.
Flying is now a family affair for the Martins, not taking long for Vanessa to catch the bug.
When he first bought his airplane, I wasn't flying, and I told him, don't even think about asking me to get in a little plane. I was afraid of heights. But anyway, he worked on me, and eventually I learned how to fly, and learning to fly cured the fear of heights. I can go anywhere now.
Glenn says flying to the Chathams was good practice for his future flight plans.
Once I've finished New Zealand, I'm planning on the Pacific. I thought it would be nice to fly around to all the Royal New Zealand Air Force bases during the Second World War, you know, in the Solomons, Guadalcanal, Rabaul.
So, in the great tradition of Biggles, it's off into the wild blue yonder for Glenn Martin. In Rangiora, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today. Local businesses have a simple message for people shopping for Christmas presents, and we have the latest edition of Global Insight with International Relations Specialist Professor Robert Patman.
It's certainly being on a bike, the frustrations you get when people are behind you, they're impatient, you know, it's only 5 or 10 seconds more out of your day, and when you think about it, we're on a lot longer journey than you are, and just keeping space. It's not hard to give a metre, you know, even if it means waiting a minute or so to pass.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Get on down to the University of Otago Oval for a double header this Sunday the 12th of December. The Sparks and the Volts take on the Northern Brave.
Hi, I'm Molly Lowe from the Otago Sparks. We have a great lineup, so come down and watch us for our next game.
Stuff your stocking!
Excuse me?
Stuff your stocking at My Mate John's with fantastic festive furniture deals. Up to 50% off with huge savings on beds, bedroom, lounge, dining, occasional and tons more. Don't miss this one. Get down to John's and stuff your stocking. Up to 50% off plus pay it off interest free. Only at John's Furniture Warehouse, Stafford Street and online.
Get that furniture from Stafford Street and My Mate John.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Welcome back. With Christmas Day inching ever closer and the pressure to get your shopping done, there's a simple message from businesses: shop local. Whether it's buying an ornament or something sweet, the message from Omarama's Farmers Market is to take a stroll and buy from those you know.
We've got some amazing producers and growers and makers of lovely things here, and I think shop local for Christmas, buy local.
Virtual shopping in New Zealand has experienced a boom recently, with Kiwis spending $5.8 billion online last year. The trend is continuing this year as about $25 million is spent online each day. However, local businesses are getting the bulk of the money, with 74% of goods Kiwis buy online coming from New Zealand stores. In today's Global Insight, Professor Robert Patman discusses the upcoming Olympic Games in China and which countries are sending diplomatic staff and which aren't. The international affairs commentator says New Zealand may be hedging its bets about the situation.
Welcome, I'm Bruce Munro, and with me is International Relations Specialist Professor Robert Patman, and this is Global Insight. What's going on with New Zealand? Because our Deputy Prime Minister Grant Robertson, he said that our ministers won't be going primarily because of concerns about COVID-19. Yeah. And then 2 days later, our Trade Minister Damien O'Connor said that human rights issues were actually an issue. Right. What's going on?
Both were included in the original rationale. Mr. Robertson chose to emphasise the COVID-19 part of the explanation. Mr. O'Connor is choosing to emphasise the human rights part. But it's clear that New Zealand is slightly out of step, not for the first time, with the Quad, the members of the Quad, but also members of the Five Eyes. And that's quite deliberate. So New Zealand's position is that given the scale of the problems are so big, we need to move towards multilateral solutions, which inevitably have to involve China, whether we like it or not. But what we can do, and this is the New Zealand position, under the Ardern government, is keep making the point, to the point of irritating the Chinese, that their human rights performance is not good enough, and if they want all the benefits of full participation in the international community, they should listen. So maybe New Zealand has once again done enough to remain on side with its close allies, but also enough to keep on side with the Chinese government, which is presumably the purpose of this constructive ambiguity.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching. Catch us next time on Global Insight. Noho ora mai.
And you can watch the full interview with Professor Patman online at odt.co.nz. Still to come on the South today. We begin looking back at the year 2021 in news, looking at February, and we take a look at the weekend's weather for you.
Hi, my name's Matt and I'm the Dines Group CEO. Dines is a company that's focused on selling logistics solutions to its customers. We're passionate about selling efficiency, and we've been selling efficiency for over 50 years now.
MTF Finance can help you turn the key on your next vehicle with a loan made just for you. TCs and lending criteria apply.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Hi, I'm Eden Carson from the Otago Sparks, and we'd love to see all your support down here at the Uni Oval this summer.
Get down to John's and stuff your stocking. Up to 50% off, plus pay it off interest-free. Only at John's Furniture Warehouse, Stafford Street, and online at mymatejohn.co.nz.
And my mate John.
Just plan your route a little bit, choose nice and quiet roads. In the winter, it's always nice to ride north and south. That way you get the driest route and less likely to hit black ice.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
I love saving goals and I love the support of our sponsors.
I'd like to thank all of our sponsors, including the ODT.
Thanks to our sponsors, especially the ODT. We all enjoy going online and looking at all the results.
A big thank you to Platinum Recruitment for supporting us through this whole season.
Thank you to Night and Day for sponsoring us and for all my crisscross fries.
Thanks to all our sponsors, especially Night and Day. I love your crisscross chips, only if there's some left after Emily Morrison's come.
Big shout out to Platinum Recruitment for helping us out this year. Thanks to all our sponsors for supporting us.
Big thanks to our sponsors, especially McDonald's Dunedin. My order of choice is a small double cheeseburger combo.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba, we're McLovin' it.
Thanks to all our sponsors, you guys are awesome. For a good afternoon, come and watch us play football.
We want you at our next game.
Can't stop believing I'm the greatest.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Welcome back. In the days leading up to Christmas, we'll be looking back month by month at some of the news events that shaped 2021. In February, there was a lead contamination scare for people living north of Dunedin, which made national headlines. And university students celebrated their O Week.
What started as a cautionary warning quickly escalated for people living in Karatani and Waikouaiti. Residents were advised to avoid drinking tap water due to the risk of lead contamination. High levels of lead had been detected in the water since the previous December, but council confusion and staff absences meant officials didn't warn the community until February.
In general, the community is nervous, we're worried, and we're actually really all very shocked that the 8th of December was the first test that showed these levels in our water, and it is now 8 weeks later.
An exhaustive investigation found there were various reasons for the occasional spike in lead readings. And after 6 months of largely relying on tankers, residents were told their water supply was safe again to drink. Work renovating Dunedin's historic prison continued apace, with a new slate roof finally being put on the 125-year-old building.
It comes with a 100-year guarantee on it, which is amazing. And John Megan, who's our roof slater, put us onto it. So we're very fortunate in having really, really good quality, very, very hard slate.
Car enthusiasts in Alexandra were treated to an exhibition of this steam-powered locomobile dating back to 1901, which was the first car imported into Dunedin. E-scooter company Neuron NZ chose Dunedin as the first South Island city to make its scooters available for hire. after Lime's green models introduced the concept to the city. Neuron said they had designed and built their scooters with an emphasis on safety.
We're a vertically integrated company, so we do our own software, our firmware and our hardware. So we don't go and get a scooter off the shelf from a third party. We build it from the ground up for commercial rideshare, and it helps us instill at the core safety.
And O-Week saw the University of Otago Union Hall looking more like a Roman forum of 2,000 years ago. First-year students enjoyed the popular annual toga party tradition, dressed in bedsheets and makeshift togas, while dancing to musical acts from around the country. In Dunedin, the South Today.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. The ORC has authorised an independent investigation into the dumping of waste building materials into the Clutha River. Dunedin-based game developing studio Runaway Play is among 5 grant recipients. And a Cantabrian jet pack inventor is taking their invention overseas to the Chatham Islands. And now look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. Welcome, Editor Barry Stewart.
Hello, Melissa.
Hello.
Residents of Dunedin have given their council a blunt review. Just a quarter of respondents to a survey are satisfied with the performance of the mayor and councillors. We dig a little deeper into that survey in the paper tomorrow, so you'll see the various pluses and minuses, as it were, in that
So
survey.
75% aren't happy?
Correct.
A quarter, yeah, that's huge.
Yeah. There you go. So, so more details of that in the paper tomorrow, of course.
Fantastic.
And a Dunedin man who went on a supermarket stabbing spree, who appeared in court earlier this week, was a simple hobo who seemed happy in the weeks before the event, according to a friend of 30 years. So we spoke to that friend today and got some background into the man. So interesting reading there. Another character we have in our Mix Weekend magazine. This is a guy who's 74. He's an engineer and international figure skater.
International.
And he's built a helicopter fueled by hydrogen peroxide. So Keith Dixon is the man, and Keith Dixon talks to feature writer Bruce Monroe about his take on the future of transport and Dunedin's place in it. So an interesting...
Can't wait to read that one.
Yes, he's a man of many talents, let me tell you. Organisers of the New Zealand Golf Open, scheduled for Millbrook in March, April, are optimistic they will get an international field of some description to the event. And of course this is all very much managed isolation and COVID dependent, but they're very optimistic that they will have a field to be worthy of the prestigious event that it is.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed for them then. And you can catch all of that in tomorrow's ODT. And now it's time for a look at the weekend's weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Starting with the situation, showers clearing during the day tomorrow as colder southeasterly airflow eases over the region. Then a mostly fine day ahead on Sunday. Starting at the north of the South Island, rain and wind in Westport and Greymouth with 19 degrees. And the wet weather continues in the northeast. Rain and showers for this region also, with Nelson on 22 and Blenheim on 23. Moving down to Canterbury, the wet weather continues. Rain and moderate winds for Kaikoura with 21 degrees. Christchurch will see showers with 18, and Ashburton has showers as well with a cool of 14 degrees. Heading down to the southern towns, light winds with showers clearing throughout the day and a high of 14 for the Catlins, Balclutha and Lumsden. Gore slightly lower on 13 degrees. Moving over to Central, similar weather here with the light winds and showers clearing as the day progresses. Wanaka, Queenstown and Alexandra reach 14 degrees, Te Anau 13. As we head further north along the coast, light winds and showers for this region with Timaru and Omarama reaching 15 degrees. Moving inland to Twizel and Omarama, light winds here too, but the showers will clear with 15 degrees. Omarama light winds, showers clearing. And Dunedin, cloudy tonight with northeasterlies and an overnight low of 11. Overcast with light showers or drizzly periods on Saturday, starting with moderate southwesterlies, possibly becoming a bit fresh in the afternoon. Showers clear tomorrow night, a high of 15 and a low of 8. And it's fine on Sunday with sunny periods, moderate northeasterlies and a bit of cloud, looking at a high of 16 and a low of 10. And in Invercargill tonight, cloud increasing with an overnight low of 9. Cloudy again tomorrow and rather cold with light showers for most of the day. Clearing early evening with moderate southeasterlies, a high of 14 and a low of 8. And it's mostly fine and sunny on Sunday with light winds and milder temperatures, a high of 17 and a low of 9. And that's the news for this Friday. For the latest news and videos from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz. And you can follow Channel 39 on YouTube to catch our news bulletins on demand. Nō reira, kia pai te pou, ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Public interest journalism funded through New Zealand On Air.